Thank you for joining us for our second segment, and we have on set these well-dressed, fully badged out Scouts, and they're here this morning to talk to us about Scouts Month. We have with us on set Felina who's youth representative for the Scouts Association of Belize. We have Aaron Pook, who's a venture scout leader, and we have Iris Campos, who is also a venture scout. Morning.
Morning.
First of all, I'm completely impressed before we say morning back. I was telling you guys off set that I was a scout for 2 years and I could only remember getting 2 badges. And I'm not even sure how you guys iron this these uniforms that you're in. It looks like fun. Could you first start off by talking about what being a scout is to you and how it has contributed to your life positively?
Well, firstly, I've been in scouting ever since I know myself, basically, from the age of 7. This year is going to make 14 years since I've been within the movement, and throughout the years it's been quite a journey, a very good learning process also, and it has changed my life completely to whereby we're not only friends or brothers and sisters within one large movement.
Nice. And for the ladies?
Well, for me, I have been in scouting for also 13 years, but now this year is going to be like 14. I've been in school. With being in the program, it has changed my life as well. Not only as a growing individual, but it has taught me many values and many skills as to become a better individual every day from ever since I started. So it's something that I value a lot.
Well, just like them, I have been in scouting for 13 years, going to 14 this year. And, well, for me, scouting is like a way of living because we basically have been living in scouting, and the values are the things that carry us through our daily activities. So it's something that helps us not just when we are in scouting, but every day at work or at school. So I would say, just a way of living that you go developing as you go progressing in the movement.
You guys are from, I'm going to guess you're from Cayo district, and you're from Corozal district.
It's all on their shit. Very good.
Is it different and more fun being a scout not in Belize district, this concrete jungle that is Belize district, as opposed to, is it more fun to be out district? Cayo is, man, I can imagine camping in Cayo. And I can imagine being out in the villages and around in Corozal. Not to say that Belize River Valley is anything, it's not that, but is it different?
In terms of like scenery, yes, but when we do the different programs that we would put in each district, it's almost the same, but everything that we do is something that goes hand in hand. It's everybody is for the same movement, for the same goal and all like that. So it's just to interact with more people. It's like some people aren't able to come, like let's say we're gonna have a camp or something in Belize City, not everybody goes there. Yeah. So we try to be equal. Not everything's going to be in Belize City that everybody from all 6 districts needs to come all the way to Belize City. So we try to share it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I was going to say, I think Camp Oakley is pretty cool, so don't feel so bad, Aaron. My question though, so they're Boy Scouts, which are the little ones, they're the regular Scouts, and they're the Venture Scouts. When you join this movement as either a Cub Scout or a regular Scout, it's cool, it's fun, you go to camp, you get away from your parents, you do fun stuff, you're hanging out with your friends during the summer. But as young adults, what makes you stay with it? When you hit that age, you're out of high school, everybody has a whole different idea of what is cool, and it really has nothing to do with scouting. What made you decide to stay with this program and feel confident to be a teenager or a young adult and say, I am a scout and I'm proud of that?
Well, I guess throughout the years going through from Cubs to Scout, and you hit the point whereby you join ventures, that's from age 15 to 21.
Yeah.
You're basically glued to it already, but during the venture program itself, it's all about service and working towards your different awards. So that's basically what it is for us, well, her being a venture. Also, we get to travel a lot. It's not only within Belize, but also worldwide. I mean, both of them just came back from Ecuador early this year. So it's
that's a good incentive.
yeah, you don't only get to make a bond at home, but also internationally.
Yeah.
So for me now, being the reason why I still do it, it's because for me it makes me feel better. It makes me feel better knowing that I'm in an organization that not only looks at trying to create programs to get the youths involved and make them stay on a proper path, but it also makes me feel like I am trying to create a change, because with this organization it has done so much change for me as an individual. I want it to be something like, I want the other youths to realize that these days you don't have to do what everybody else says unless you want, like everybody wants to change, but nobody wants to do it. So for me, I might be the only one standing in a room trying to progress for a change, and nobody else would be there to help. But at the end of the day, I know that I'm trying to make that change, and hopefully eventually others would jump in and aim for that exact same change.
Leadership.
Maybe not exactly. It's all about that leadership. It's all about trying to be an example, a proper example for other youths growing up.
What about being especially Scouts, because you are more hands-on, practical skills.
Yeah.
But we're in a technology world.
Yeah.
Your friends are texting, Facebooking, everything, and you're in Camp Oakley with no electricity, or at camp with, you're going against you're traitors to your generation. Tell me how you balance the two, right?
I think it's just the way, as you go growing, you get used to that. When you are at camp, it's like a getaway from all that technology that you have in the city and in Corozal, in the districts. It's just
Stop saying it like it's a bad thing. Get away
It's
from that
not-
technology.
it's not a bad thing, but it's like something when you go to camps and when you get away from it, it's like you get to relax and you get to enjoy like the little things you have there, rather than being
like-
all the time texting. Like
Nice.
we
It's
can be in
enjoying
the
the
room
simple
texting
things,
rather
right?
than having an actual conversation with each other and
Nice.
having good moments rather than being texting with each other.
That's great.
This is an old time thing. It's out of style, man. And if somebody were to be provocative and say, in fact, some of the things that they're teaching you, we no longer use, like how to light a fire. Like really, there's a thing called a lighter. Talk to us about the relevance of some of the skills that you learn, and whether or not it's just for the skill of learning it, or the challenges and overcoming challenges. What is the story and lessons that you take out of it that are still relevant for today?
Well, it's no longer, well, we do still do the skills with learning how to tie knots, campfires and stuff like that, but whenever, well, throughout the years we've revolved to whereby we do more capacity building. We teach them how to be better leaders, how to make the right decisions and stuff like that. We're not moving from the basics, but we're giving them more.
I'm glad you said that, because I actually wanted to ask that question. I think the first assumption people have of what Scouts do is the image of survival training, which I still think your survival training is very intense. You know, you go out into the bush, sometimes you have to find your way back. That's one of your trainings as well. But there's other components about how you build your Scouts that are also equally important. And I know there's a lot about the type of character that you are and how you approach each other. Can we talk about those other components? Because the survival skills is cool, and I think quite a few kids perhaps have never seen a campfire. And you guys, that's a part of everyday thing with the camp. But what are the other parts that really, you said it makes you a better person. You said it makes you better in your job. Tell me about those things.
Well, for me, like, you mean like how it
empowers
Yeah.
you, how it makes you.
I think it makes me being, I don't know how to answer this.
More vocal, because they're talking about you being in the room and pushing for right.
Yeah, so, okay, it makes me see things differently then. It makes me, instead of just being like, okay, it's like right now, being at this age, we are challenged, right? We're challenged by society, we're challenged by the media, we're challenged by many things. And then for me, I try to be somebody of a different character. I'm not out there all the time. I'm somebody that I am all for whatever is positive in life is where I should go. I don't try to be somebody that's always negative, because when you're negative, you don't get anywhere. It's just like you're in a box locked up by yourself. So I I honestly think it's more about how you want to see yourself then.
You know, my favorite book is Animal Farm, but every time I read it, I get something different out of it and value something different. As you've been in scouting for an average of about 13 to 14 years, every stage probably took something different for you that you thought, okay, well, when I was a cub, I really appreciate the fact that I'm not there on my ma. Or this, you know, when you became a venture, that somehow you took on a leadership role. What have you extracted, and maybe I could direct this to you, good sir. What have you extracted from each stage, and what do you most value now at the stage where you are?
Well, scouting has taught me to value so much, and it's like pretty hard to choose one. But I'd have to say friendship, brotherhood, and determination. Throughout the years, scouting has taught us that, you know, you can depend on friends within or out of the program itself. You could determination. It's taught me how to be very determined in whatever I do, and also it's taught me that, you know, in the end, life is just, I don't know how to put this one, but but those are the things that I value the most.
Now, I want to ask a different question in terms of value. Which badge do you value the most? Because each one you have to earn, and I want you to tell me which one really stands out.
He told me no, actually. He told me, he just burst my bubble and told me the 3 badges I had came with the uniform.
Yeah, that was you. You were not as decorated as that. And you did what? 6 scout meetings? Go ahead.
Well, at the moment on my uniform, I would say
even if it's one you're not wearing, a badge that was really important to you.
I would say the one I just got at Ecuador, from the ILT, the Inter-American Leadership Training that me and Felina attended. Why? Because it was my first international trip as a scout, and it was exciting. After 13 years getting to that level, it means you have done something good. And being there and the knowledge that was given to us was something that I will not only use as a scout here in our NSO, but in my job as a cook, as a chef, and at home with family and with my scouts. It's something that, how can I say, that will help me better the people around me.
Yeah.
And well, that's the reason I value it a lot, because it's something that made me grow in just a minimal amount of time.
Yeah, nice.
Well, for me, it's not technically a badge. It's a scarf, and it's this blue and white scarf right here. It's
Peace Messenger.
Yeah, I got it at the same training that I attended in 2018. But the meaning behind this scarf is that whenever you see a blue and white scarf, you're looking at a messengers of peace. They basically focus on spreading peace through different projects, whether it be within the community, on self, or with leadership or training, or anything like that.
Nice.
Well, for me, I honestly don't have a favorite badge, but what I like about receiving them is that it's like a token of remembrance that I did this. So unlike them, I enjoy my scarf, I enjoy my badge, and I enjoy the bonds that I have created at these different events, especially when you go internationally. It's something where you experience scouting in a whole nother level, and then when you're there, it's like with a bunch of different countries. So when you're with all these countries, like it's like home away from home, because
Nice.
everybody is for the same movement, the same goal, and everything. It just feels
Well,
like home.
I think just based on your responses, recruitment is probably is going to be a little bit easier. But we got to talk about what's happening. So Scouts Month is in February. Why is it in February?
Well, during the month of February, we actually celebrate Founders Day, which is the 22nd of February. So 3 years back, we used to celebrate it during the week as 1 week, but we realized that, we can't put so many activities into 1 week.
Yeah.
So we decided to turn it from Scout Week into Scout Month. And the theme for this year is my favorite quote from the founder of Scouting, Lord Robert Baden-Powell, is the most worthwhile thing to do is to put happiness into the life of others. Which, it has its own meaning to every person that interprets the quote itself. For me, it's that as Scouts, we give back. And knowing that you give back actually puts a smile on someone's face. For her, it could be different, and for her, it could be something totally different.
Yeah.
But that's the theme for Scout Month.
And so your activities are actually tied around that as well, right?
Yeah,
So
indeed.
tell me what we're going to see the Scouts doing this month.
Well, we start off tomorrow, actually. We launch, we have the opening ceremony for Scout Month at the Flag Monument. It starts at 6 a.m. in the morning. This coming Saturday, we have a patak with Scouts from across the Belize district, and Scouts from outside district are also invited as well. The patak is a day of activities with Scouts to raise for the community to see us active then. And then we have next weekend we have our church service at Ebenezer Church with the Girl Guides, because they also celebrate Thinking Day as well. The following week after that, we have our Unit Council training course. That's for the Scout sections.
Yeah.
For the Scout section, whereby we teach them about the patrol, the unit, everything within the Scout section. And then we have the last Saturday in the month, which we have the Scout Commissioners Gala. It's a fundraising event for the Scout section.
Where's that going to be?
The venue is still being decided as well. Hopefully we have one by the end of today. But if you need more information, you could always contact the Scout office.
And on Founders Day itself, the 22nd, everyone will be wearing their uniform everywhere they are.
To school, to work,
That's
whatever they do.
You guys will also be visiting the hospitals?
We do. We will be visiting the children ward. Hopefully taking stuff to the children as well, as a type of service.
And at the end of the month, you are launching a new badge along with Audubon. Tell me about that.
Well, it had to be pushed back a bit. That was to be taken up, but we are launching the bird badge. It's a badge for, I think, Cubs and Scouts, for them to earn their bird badge with the different types of birds. We've been on different bird viewing expedition with the Audubon Society, so it's going to be something very nice for them.
Curious, from the tree badge guy, how many total badges are there? And what's the most badges you've seen? You guys just went international. You see somebody that you can't even see the color of their... How many badges are there?
For Belize, I think there's over 100 badges within the Scout section itself.
Wow.
And they go from different categories. I don't quite remember them. That's a long time ago. But for the Scout section, there are over 100 badges. Cubs can also earn badges as well. So it's something
and then
good for
venture
them.
focus more on leadership trainings
Yeah,
like you
and
guys have here.
We get awards.
Yeah.
Okay. So if someone wants to sign up, can you sign up directly into Venture Scouts, or do you have to matriculate into Venture?
You could sign up from Ventures. The age ranges are from 6 to 11 for the Cubs, and from 11 to 15 for the Scouts, and from 15 to 21 for Ventures.
When I was a Scout, one of the reasons, or what do you call it, group or unit? One of the reasons our unit went in was because our leader, who was a soldier, he took up assignment somewhere else, and we were completely heartbroken, and there was nobody else to replace him. Could you talk to us, and probably, I don't know if it's an appeal that you need to have, for people to step in and actually to assist in the movement, not just recruits to deal with the Cubs, but not just recruits to be Cubs, but people to actually guide. Are you having a problem with that? How is it right now in terms of people coming in?
Well, the major problem that we're having right now is the volunteering for leaders of the different groups. I mean, we are in a age and range right now whereby everything is hustle for someone, and scouting is something very voluntarily. So that's the biggest problem right now. The most that we ask for is 2 hours every Saturday to meet with them. And on special occasions, we have the different camps and stuff like that. But to know that scouting is not a discipline type of movement, it's about developing your development.
Okay, and so people can go to the office. You have an office here in Belize City. What's the number?
The number is 223-7216.
So if someone is interested, they can call, volunteer, or find out how they can get their kids involved.
With the entire district, because once you're like, if you're staying somewhere within the district and want your kids to do scouting, when you they can help you or guide you to different groups to join, so it makes it easier for anyone.
Nice.
All right, well, great job, everybody, and do enjoy your activities for the upcoming Scouts Month.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, it's for another edition of Pretty Handy, so stay tuned.